because we know he wants to go up straight away and fight Islam. Islam hasn't been too keen on that idea because he's given other guys a chance before. He wants to become a two-weight division champion. And then, of course, there's the number 2 ranked Charles do Bronx Oliveira, the man with the most finishes, the most bonuses, the most submissions, the most exciting fighter in all the bloody division, right? Sign me up, take my money. We'd all want to see that fight.
Charles Oliveira has warned Ilia Topuria that lightweight is a different beast, vowing he can submit or knock him out if they fight.
A lot of fighters, whenever they get a belt and they wrap that, they have that belt wrapped around their waist, they start thinking up and down in the divisions and you want to challenge things, but I think you have to be very careful.
Charles Oliveira has given Ilia Topuria a stern warning as the rising star prepares to make his lightweight debut. Oliveira, a former UFC lightweight champion, has experience in moving between weight classes and is well aware of the challenges that come with competing at 155 pounds. He's made it clear that Topuria, who's moving up from featherweight, is stepping into a whole new world when it comes to fighting at lightweight.
How do you see the chances for Ilia in terms of becoming a champion in lightweight, maybe fighting Islam Makhachev, and do you see someday you yourself fighting Ilia Topuria for the lightweight title?
Cara, o Ilia Topuria cara que duríssimo, cara que fala e vem fazendo.
Ilia is a tough fighter, someone who talks the talk and walks the walk. He's doing things, and I can see why he would want to challenge people, and I think a lot of people, he would be obviously a tough fight, and I think that what happens is a lot of fighters, whenever they get a belt and they wrap that, they have that belt wrapped around their waist, they start thinking up and down in the divisions and you want to challenge things, but I think you have to be very careful when you're coming up to lightweight, because this is tough. This is a very tough division, but at any rate, I think he's a very tough and very dangerous guy.
While Topuria has only one fight at lightweight under his belt, his meteoric rise in the UFC has generated enough buzz for many to consider him a potential contender for the title. However, Oliveira, who is also seeking another shot at the lightweight belt, cautioned Topuria about what's ahead in the division. He emphasized that the lightweight class is one of the toughest in MMA, and he warned that Topuria might be in for a rude awakening. Oliveira, a well-rounded fighter known for his Brazilian jiu-jitsu and knockout power, stated that he doesn't just think he can submit Topuria, he believes he has the ability to knock him out as well. Charles said, "Whoever I get told to fight, I'm going to fight. I have nothing but respect for Ilia Topuria, but this is lightweight. It's the most difficult division you have ever seen, and I have power in my hands. I believe in my jiu-jitsu, but I believe that I could knock Ilia Topuria out." Topuria, who recently vacated his featherweight title, has boldly declared that he wants to challenge for the lightweight crown, but UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev has his reservations about giving him an immediate title shot. Makhachev, who has already defeated former featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski twice, doesn't seem eager to face another fighter coming up from the 145-pound division without first proving himself at 155 pounds.
Do you have a message for him? He really wants to fight you next year.
No, man. I'm tired to give chance the small guys, you know. I need my second belt, you know. It's nothing excited. He's a good fighter, he's a good skills fighter, but I don't want to give him chance, you know. I need second belt. They fight for what? For me, it's nothing. Just his name. I don't need his name. I need the belt.
Moving up to 155, potentially fighting Islam Makhachev.
This is something that I want to do, is to move up to the 155, because I know by fact that I can become a two-weight world champion, because Islam, he's a great fighter. He's the #1 pound for pound for me. I'm the best fighter in the world, so I know that I can do with him whatever I want to do, because I know that I'm much better than him. As I always say, I represent the new generation of mixed martial arts.
Adding to the intrigue surrounding this situation is Topuria's fiery comments about Makhachev, in which he accused the lightweight champion of being scared to fight him. This accusation has sparked some heated debate among MMA analysts. Chael Sonnen was quick to dismiss Topuria's claims. Sonnen was particularly vocal about the idea that Makhachev might be afraid of anyone, calling it fake news. Sonnen said, "My first sense is that's fake news, and it's a real insult to Islam. I don't believe that Islam's scared to fight anybody, and I think the evidence of that fact would be the fact that he switched opponents and took on Money Moicano with no training camp, no preparation, just because it's the right thing to do, and made sure that the golden rule was followed, which is the show must go forward." forward. I don't believe it to be any more than a rumor. Moreover, I also think it's a little bit insult. Even though Makhachev is not keen on fighting another featherweight, Daniel Cormier weighed in on the situation and made an interesting point about the potential consequences for Makhachev if he does decide to face Topuria. According to Cormier, a victory over Topuria would likely come with some criticism, particularly because Topuria was previously a champion at featherweight. If Makhachev wins, many would argue that he's simply beating another smaller opponent, something that could tarnish his legacy if he doesn't fight someone from the lightweight division first. Cormier expressed concern that Makhachev's dominance could be undermined by the fact that he would have beaten yet another fighter from a lower weight class, which would only fuel critics who are eager to find faults in his reign.
For Makhachev, he goes and beats Ilia Topuria, right? People will say he beat Volk, he beat Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, Renato Moicano. Seems pretty good. That's 5 title fight wins. But in that, it would say, well, he's defended the belt 3 times against featherweights. Because at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter what you do or in high regard you hold someone. The fact that he was the champion in a lower weight class is what's going to be pointed to the moment Islam beats him. Because anytime you have a dominant champ, anytime, you look for reasons to discredit them. Happens all the time.
Michael Bisping has a different take on the matter. While he acknowledged that Makhachev's reluctance to fight Topuria is understandable, he argued that the fight makes a lot of sense from a business perspective. According to Bisping, a clash between Makhachev and Topuria could be one of the biggest marketable fights in UFC history. Both fighters are incredibly popular, and the storyline of a rising featherweight star moving up to challenge the dominant lightweight champion would be hard to resist. Bisping believes that the UFC might have no choice but to book this fight, as it presents a huge opportunity for the promotion in terms of fan interest and potential pay-per-view sales.
I think Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria, because any of those guys, Arman, Charles, Justin, sure, they'd all be phenomenal fights, and they'd all have a realistic chance of potentially beating Ilia Topuria. Granted, Ilia is special. I'm not saying that he's not. But if he lost to them, there's a massive market opportunity lost there, because Ilia versus Islam, Ilia with the rise, Ilia still being in a lot of people's minds the featherweight champion against the lightweight champion, there's something there. And yeah, if he loses to Gaethje but then 2-3 fights later gets a shot, it's not quite the same sell.
However, Bisping also acknowledged the risks involved with booking Topuria against Makhachev. If Topuria were to lose, it could damage his hype and put a serious dent in his momentum. But if he wins, it would only enhance his status as one of the top fighters in the world and further cement his place in the UFC's lightweight division. He said, "I think Islam is going to take it. Granted, he wants a shot at becoming a 2-weight champion, but he's going to have to wait for a while because of Bilal Muhammad. So in the meantime, you take out Ilia Topuria, which would be an absolutely blockbuster fight." This situation reflects the larger challenges Dana White faces when trying to match up top fighters. There are multiple potential contenders for the lightweight title, including Justin Gaethje, Arman Tsarukyan, and Charles Oliveira, all of whom are waiting for their opportunity to face Makhachev. While Gaethje has been vocal about his desire for a title shot, he's also content with his current status and seems more interested in enjoying the fruits of his career, including the financial rewards and freedom to fight on his terms. Tsarukyan and Oliveira, on the other hand, are both eager for a rematch with Makhachev, and both have strong arguments for why they should be next in line. The UFC's decision to potentially fast-track Topuria into a lightweight title shot despite his limited experience at 155 pounds would not only be risky, but also potentially alienate other contenders who have been patiently waiting for their chance.
Here's what I would suggest, and I'm not a matchmaker. Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Yes, book it. Gaethje versus Tsarukyan. Book it. Whoever wins fights Makhachev. That's it right there. That's it. Topuria gets the shot. Tsarukyan, Gaethje, winner gets the title fight. We're back in line at 155. Oliveira, go down to New Orleans. Fight Dustin Poirier. If you win again, you're next after that guy. There it is. That's it. Oliveira fits the bill. Oliveira is a former champion, a big name. he could be the type of guy Poirier would want to fight in his retirement fight.
Many fighters and analysts have weighed in on Ilia Topuria's potential move to the lightweight division and the possibility of an immediate title shot against Islam Makhachev. Justin Gaethje sees Topuria as a strong fit for the 155-pound weight class, especially after his dominant wins over Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. He believes the added weight could enhance Topuria's already aggressive fighting style and well-rounded skill set, making him a dangerous addition to the division. However, when asked whether Topuria should fight for the title immediately, Gaethje remained non-committal.
I just wanted your thoughts on Ilia Topuria vacating the featherweight title and coming up to lightweight. Do you think he's built for lightweight?
Yeah, I think he's a fighter, you know, especially with the confidence that he has right now with those wins over Max and Volkanovski. I think, you know, confidence is the biggest factor when you step in there. You have to believe, you know, in yourself first and foremost. And so, yeah, I think just made the most exciting weight class in this sport a little bit more exciting.
Do you obviously, you know, if you go out there and finish Fizzy, there's a good chance that you get the title shot, but do you believe Ilia should get a automatic title shot against Islam?
I don't know. Haven't thought about it.
Awesome.
It doesn't matter. Again, that's one of the things I can't control, so I'm not going to put a lot of thought and you know, energy into that.
On the other hand, Henry Cejudo is convinced that Topuria has earned the opportunity. In his view, knocking out elite opponents like Volkanovski and Holloway should be enough to warrant a title shot. He also speculates that Arman Tsarukyan, a strong contender for the next championship bout, may have been overlooked because the UFC views Topuria as a bigger draw and a more marketable opponent for Makhachev. Henry sees Topuria's combination of skill, confidence, and fan appeal as a compelling reason for him to get the next shot at the belt.
Ilia Topuria fighting Islam Makhachev, or should Ilia just fight Volk again?
I feel like Ilia deserves that, but it takes two to tango, and I don't feel like these Dagestanis, bro, even though they say anytime, anywhere, it's like Islam wants to make sure that Ilia deserves it. He wants him to go through the number one contender, as we talked about before. But if I had my choice, of course, Ilia, fight Islam Makhachev. Do I believe Ilia could beat Islam? No.
Not everyone shares the same enthusiasm for Topuria's immediate title aspirations. Paddy Pimblett has been one of his most vocal critics, dismissing his move to lightweight as a way to avoid tougher challenges at featherweight. Pimblett questions why Topuria would move up in weight given his relatively small frame compared to other lightweights. He argues that Topuria may have simply chosen to leave the division rather than defend his title against more dangerous opponents. He said, "I was thinking, wow, you're stupid. Why have you moved up to this division? Like, he's tiny. He's like 5 feet 5 inches, 5 feet 6. I don't understand why, like, he dares to call me fat when he's saying he can't make 145 anymore when he's a midget. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I think he ran from 145, to be honest." Similarly, Michael Chandler has expressed doubts about Topuria's readiness for lightweight, suggesting that his struggles to make 145 pounds may have been the main reason for the move, rather than a desire to test himself in a new division. While Chandler acknowledges Topuria's confidence, he questions whether he is truly prepared for the level of competition he will face at 155 pounds.
He is not the featherweight champ because the dude is so confident in himself that he vacated the belt to come up to 155. I mean, that's a pretty ballsy move, right? Conventional wisdom says, hang on to the belt, go up, try your hand at 155, and then come back down. So that in and of itself is spectacular. So we'll see, man. He thinks he's going to do well at 155. Obviously, that's a fight that I would love to have. We'll see how it all shakes out. Who he fights first in the division. Does he fight Islam for the title? Does Islam go up? There's rumors of that going on. There's a lot of stuff happening at this 45, 55, 170. I think three of the most exciting divisions in the UFC, 155 being the most exciting division.
Matt Brown also shares reservations about granting Topuria an immediate title shot. In his view, Makhachev should be fighting established lightweights rather than another former featherweight, especially since he has already defended his title twice against Volkanovski. While Brown respects Topuria's accomplishments, he believes the Georgian-Spanish fighter should first prove himself in his new division before challenging challenging for the belt. He suggests that securing a key victory against a top lightweight contender would solidify his place as a legitimate title challenger. He stated he has earned the right to fight for a title in basically every division. What Ilia has done, I think he has earned the right to fight for a title in basically every division, but I agree that let him fight one day before and earn the fight with Islam. Bilal Muhammad, a close teammate of Makhachev, sees the debate from a different angle. He believes that much of the excitement around Topuria is fueled by a desire to see Makhachev lose, as fans often look for new challengers to dethrone dominant champions. While Muhammad acknowledges Topuria's talent, he argues that defeating a top lightweight contender like Charles Oliveira or Dustin Poirier would leave no doubt about his credentials. Until then, he believes Topuria still has more to prove before stepping into a title fight.
What are your thoughts on Ilia coming up and how lightweight looks with Islam kind of teasing or maybe moving up at some point?
Everybody's calling for Ilia. Then you look at the comments and all of them are like, well, he's only fought in featherweights. And then he goes out there and he beats Ilia. And
he's also scared of Ilia, according to those same people.
Exactly, right? And then he's going to go out there and he's like, oh, well, we told you that Ilia was too small. And Ilia could always go back down and say, oh, well, yeah, it wasn't good enough for me. But for Islam, for him to keep building his legacy, people are going to, they want to just see them lose, right? They want to see that team lose. And then you saw it with like Umar. It was such a good fight, such a close fight, but everybody's acting like he got killed because they just want to see that team lose. People hate greatness. People hate success, and they'd rather see you fail. But for Islam, they don't really care about that. They don't hear that noise. I think if Ilia goes out there and he fights like a Charles or even a DDP and he gets the win, there's no denying him, right? You have to get the title shot.
However, Beneil Dariush fully supports Topuria's transition to lightweight and believes he has done enough to earn a title shot. Dariush views Topuria's championship reign at featherweight, combined with his decision to move up in search of greater challenges, as a testament to his ambition and skill. With the UFC seemingly ruling out Sarukian as the next challenger, Dariush sees Topuria as a logical choice, given his impressive winning streak and dominant performances. He said, "You can't really disagree with it, because he became champion, he defended his belt, and he's just like, hey, I'm too big. I don't want to make this weight cut anymore, so I want to fight 55. I wouldn't be against him fighting for 155, especially since the UFC said they're not going to allow Arman Sarukian to have his fight for the title. So, if Arman's not getting the title shot, Charles Oliveira, I understand he's supposed to be the #1 contender, but I would say Ilia's credentials are better at this moment. He's riding quite the win streak, so I definitely wouldn't be like, oh, this is a mistake. They shouldn't have this fight." Aljamain Sterling has analyzed how a potential fight between Topuria and Makhachev might play out. He recognizes Makhachev's advantage in wrestling and submissions, but believes Topuria's speed, striking, and ability to attack with calf kicks could pose problems for the champion. In Sterling's assessment, both fighters have high fight IQs and the ability to adapt mid-fight, making for a highly competitive matchup.
Ilia Topuria, boxing speed, boxing punches. Ilia Topuria, calf kicks, which is a very dangerous weapon. I think Ilia Topuria uses those way better than Islam Makhachev. I don't think Makhachev really throws kicks like calf kicks or leg kicks. Wrestling, control, and submissions, I'm going to lean towards Islam Makhachev. Fight IQ, that's hard. Both guys are really, really good. I think they're neck and neck. It's hard for me to pick.
Robert Whitaker has also spoken highly of Topuria's skills, suggesting that many fans and analysts still underestimate just how well-rounded he is. He highlights Topuria's striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu as elite-level tools that could challenge anyone in the division. Whitaker also sees an intriguing stylistic battle between Topuria's Georgian wrestling background and Makhachev's renowned Dagestani grappling, which could make for an unpredictable fight. He stated, "He is but Ilia. I feel like Ilia, like people know he is good, but I don't think they know how good he is. You know what I mean? I feel like these people still don't realize. Technically, he is so far above the game in terms of jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and pocket fighting, cause I think that's a fight that will put him on the map. Like a proper, he will take everything that Islam has. He is already on the map." Alexander Volkanovski, having shared the cage with both Makhachev and Topuria, believes that relying on a single knockout punch will not be enough to dethrone the lightweight champion. He argues that Topuria must prove he has a complete skill set to truly challenge Makhachev, emphasizing that power alone won't be sufficient against such a well-rounded and dominant opponent.
The thing is with Ilia, he is a dangerous fighter and he can catch anyone. You know, if he goes there and he's stoic and he's, even if the fight's not going his way, he will eventually
will not eventually get it, but he's going to keep trying to find it. You know, them later rounds are going to get harder for him, but you know, if he was to land, he could definitely knock him out. I think that's going to be hard to do. I think Islam's a pretty safe fighter. I think the scrambling stuff, even if Ilia's takedown defense is solid, I still think them exchanges are going to be better off for Islam. But you mean you can't count Ilia's power out. You know, them hands. You know, he's going to be looking for that shot. Them early rounds, he's going to be very dangerous. So to say he's got no chance is silly, because you know what I mean. And that's how I've always, for myself as well, that's how I've always seen myself only getting beaten by someone catching me. I don't feel like anyone can actually beat me, but everyone has a chance of catching you. And I still believe that's the case now. But I mean, you've got some that are, better chances than others, and Ilia has the better chance than most.
Dominic Cruz takes a slightly different approach in assessing the fight. He believes Topuria's best path to victory lies in controlling the range and forcing Makhachev to fight on the back foot. If Topuria can keep the fight standing, dictate the distance, and successfully defend takedowns, Cruz sees a real possibility for him to disrupt Makhachev's game plan and create an opportunity for an upset. He stated he has the tools. It's keep it on the feet, dictate the range, and keep Makhachev on his heels. If you keep Makhachev moving back with good striking defense and he's able to stuff a couple of the takedowns, I think he can get the momentum going in his favor and give himself a really good chance. So what are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.